Hey boys and bears, it's Dan from Boys, Bears, and Scares. Tonight I'm going to talk about a specific director. Tonight's director is Pete Jacelone. Pete Jacelone is part of Scream Kings, which I've posted about on Boys, Bears, and Scares before. This is a movie company that does it basically exploits men for a change in horror instead of women. So it's very exciting stuff. Lots of built, muscular guys with their physique showing. Then they have movies that I've talked about them before. Then they have movies with younger, like Abercrombie type guys. So I'm going to talk about all of Pete's movies tonight because I've watched them all. Pete is a pretty sick puppy. Pete makes really, really twisted films. He's done it all, though. He's done horror anthologies, he's done zombies, he's done exploitation, like midnight movie type stuff. So I'm going to go through each of his movies, and then I'll post my blog with a more extended description of each movie, so you can check them out if you want. So we're going to get started. Let's see. First we have, well, this was his first one. This one I think he made in like 98 or something, 1998. This is called Psycho Sisters. Psycho Sisters is basically a rape revenge movie, but it's not like, it's not like I Spit on Your Grave, like, really messed up and screws up with your head. Like, I don't like those kinds of movies, but this has, like, there's a rape scene at the beginning. It's a little hardcore, but then this becomes, like, total camp. These two, like, sisters, there they are. They're both awesome in this movie, by the way. They go and they capture really, really hot guys, and they, they chop them up and stuff. So this is one of his, I think, probably one of his funniest films. This is, dark humor. If you like dark humor, twisted stuff, Psycho Sisters is a goodie. So that's the first one. Then we have, actually, the next one we have is the one called Beef. Now, I've covered Beef before, so I'm just going to talk about it briefly. It's basically about this guy who has, like, body image issues. So he reads a book called Beef that tells him if he he is what he eats. So if he eats hot-built men, he's going to become a hot-built man. So I actually have this playing right here. So here's, well, there's Beef on the screen. I hope you can see it from there. This guy is posing. This is like this is more very much an exploitation of men movie. So it's basically he just keeps bringing guys home. He's a photographer, so he gets them to get all naked. Well, not completely naked. He's got his Speedo on. So it's just one scene after another of him bringing home these guys, getting them to pose. So hot. This movie's hot. And then he beats them, bashes their head in and stuff like that. So that's pretty much the plot of that one. And then there's a little bit of other stuff that happens closer to the end that gives it more of a full story. So then, interestingly, on the same kind of genre as that, there's sculpture. And I've talked about sculpture before too. I might have talked about these at the same time because they're both Scream King movies, and I did a video about Scream Kings. So this is the one, this is kind of like the classic 80s movie pieces, but in this one it's a woman who has to create a work of art, so she starts to get hot men from the gym. And she gets the men from the gym, and she hacks them up, and she, creates another man, perfect man. I don't know, to me a perfect man isn't a man that has stitches all over him, but she's a psycho. So, and speaking of psycho, this is Psycho Street. Psycho Street is an anthology film, and Pete Jacelone only directed one episode of this. He directed the first segment, which is called Hypochondriac. And this is total camp. This is like John Waters era stuff, it's just wacky, it's, low budget, it's supposed to be low budget, it's supposed to be campy and oddball. So that's his only story in this one, but there are other good stories in this one. But that's Pete's story in there. And then he went on and he did another anthology film. This is Road Hell. Now, Pete did this, he did two stories in this one. And the first one, Road Hell, it has some good stuff. The one story that he did is basically, it's about a kid. It kind of reminds me of like those 80s movies that were like kid horror movies, like The Gate and, like Stand By Me, where it's all about young kids, but it's still a horror movie. It's really got a lot of gore in it, this one. But other than that, it's about teenagers, so it's young teenagers. And this kid, so his dog gets killed in the forest, and he wants to find out what did it. And he finds out. He and his friends find out the hard way. So that's the one story. And the second story, oh, this is my favorite story. This one in here, this is his zombie. It's a zombie, basically. So this one stars this guy, Edward X. Young. Edward X. Young rules. So he plays a zombie hunter in this one, and it's like it's basically like they're doing a documentary on him. So they're following him around. He's giving his thoughts and all this stuff on, killing zombies, and it's just got, if you love zombies, this covers all the grounds. It kind of satire of everything, and Edward X. Young is awesome. I love him. He was in The Green Monster, which I blogged about a while back, and he's even better in this because he's very funny. And if you watch all three stories in this have they're separate versions of them in the bonus features, and in the bonus features they'll have like, each one has its own introduction as a short film instead of being part of a compilation. So in the short film version of the zombie movie, there's a lot of gore in the opening scene, and Edward X. Young moves everybody. He just whips down those pants, and he's got a cute tushy. So that's that one, and that's Road Hell. That's another anthology. Now, the newest one that Pete did is, this is kind of controversial. This one's called the Pogo Project. I don't have the box for that. That's the DVD. Pogo Project is about John Wayne Gacy. And this is really also short films. It's a compilation of short films that Pete did. And each of the films looks at the Gacy case, but in a fictional way, or how did it happen? Like, it's speculative, right? So there's scenes of how did he get the kids to go into their handcuffs, right? There was a couple of scenes of that, and this is hardcore stuff. Like, you have to be into like, watching the really disturbing choking scenes and stuff. And then there's a couple of shorts in here that are very fictional. One is more like a teen slasher because this kid is doing a paper on John Wayne Gacy, and he gets a piece of the original rope that John Wayne Gacy used to choke people. And turns out that every time one of these teenagers touches this thing, they go and they choke somebody. So, it has a good twist ending, this one, actually. And then the last story in Pogo, the Pogo Project, is about what would happen if things didn't go the way John Gacy planned when he, got one of his boys that he wanted to kill. So it's really, really good. It's like the kid is like doesn't die. He keeps trying to choke him. He won't die. Then there's a cop that comes in on the scene and knows that Gacy's a killer, and now he has to kind of figure out how he's going to get away from this guy. So that's the Pogo Project. Now the Pogo Project is very long. It's like 3 hours long because remember, it's like short stories all compiled together. So you don't have to watch it all at once. You can watch it in segments, but you really have to be into like serial killer movies, like Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, like that kind of hardcore stuff, if you want to watch this. Again, it's like fictional accounts of Gacy, but that's his newest one, and that's all of his films. And like I said, all of them, he not Road Hell so much, but most of these, he exploits guys, because this is Scream Kings. Scream Kings is the name of the movie company. So Pete likes to put naked men in his movies. Here goes another one. Check him out. Hope you can see that. That's from Beef. So that's it. That's Pete Jacelone. Going to put the blog on my website. You can check it out. I'll give more details about each movie. And that's it. Okay? Enjoy, guys.